why your brand doesn't want to do cricket?
It's not.
The gentleman who is come here today, one of India's youngest sports CEOs. Why did you decide that I want to bet on basketball and this is a sport that I want to grow? Obviously, you like the sport.
So thing is,
He's been able to raise 55 million odd in terms of funding for sports firms in India. Did you know that you wanted to become a CEO or it just happened?
I think it just happened.
I can understand one. I think now it's about 10. And it's not easy to be able to do that.
Like BFI tried to ban us.
Cricket is doing great. Why is it that other federations and sports are not able to replicate what the BCCI is doing?
Because they're acting as a roadblock.
If they had to know how much money you can make.
Cricket, you can look at 100 crores every year, but the cricket market is going to be saturated in the next 5 years.
Didn't you feel someday that, okay, what I'm doing right now is great. Maybe I should also start something with cricket?
I think...
Alright, I think it would be unfair to start All In With Stalin without the guest I have today, because for everybody who's wondering, who's been asking me where did I get this name from, the gentleman who suggested the name is come here today. So All In With Stalin was given to me by Sunny Bhandarkar. Sunny, thank you so much for firstly coming in. And I have to say that I wouldn't be able to start this podcast if you wouldn't have made it. That's why I've been chasing you so much, and that's why I wanted you here in the first place. But just to give context to everybody who is watching this, Sunny is someone who's one of India's youngest sports CEOs, right? He's been able to raise about 55 million odd in terms of funding for sports firms in India, and it's not easy to be able to do that over the years that you've done. So thank you so much for coming in first.
Thank you.
And specifically have King James here. I know you're a LeBron James fan, but specifically basketball here because you've come from that field also.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Quickly, right, before we just get into it, if you can tell our viewers, right, how is it that you've been able to spearhead about 7 to 8 sports companies in India? How did you know initially that you wanted to become a CEO, or it just happened?
I think it just happened, like my life, led the way for me to be here, So it all started when I was 16 years old. I was playing handball. I just come back from my state level tournament. I was doing boxing as well. So I was boxing, and one of my uncles told me that, hey, you should try American football. One of my friends is here, and he's growing the sport of American football. So why don't you try? I was a hefty 160 kgs
160?
Kid. Yeah. So I was like, okay, fine. Like, I'll give it a shot or whatever. And of course, I was very hesitant because I was a lazy guy back then, and I didn't really want to move around. But I fell in love with the sport. And
this
is the year 2009.
2009. So American football.
Yeah, that was in Mumbai.
Right.
So we were just growing the game here, and I met with the founder's brother, and the founder's brother was like, "Hey, you're a great player. You need to get selected." So I got selected. Then he told me like, "Hey, can we get more guys to come and learn the sport?" I was like, "Sure." So without a salary, without any pay, I was like, "Okay, fine, I'll do it." So we were training around 250 athletes.
In India?
In India, in Mumbai itself. And that was just done by me, who was a 16-year-old kid.
For a sport which wasn't even known at that time.
Yeah. So I got a lot of people. I got a lot of people from Kabaddi. I got a lot of people from boxing, handball, all my sports colleagues, right? Because, of course, not to miss the fact that I was always brought up in the sporting environment. Because my dad was in SAI. Right. Sports Authority of India, and my mom was also a handball coach. So I had the luxury of having a lot of contacts in that sense. Right. So I did that, and I did that so well that they wanted to for me to come in marketing now. And then I was in marketing, and then eventually I became the assistant to the CEO. That was Rich Whalen, who's the founder. Right. And I don't know what he saw in me, and he was like, you know what, you need to handle all the companies. You have to do it for me. Right. So I was blessed, or I was lucky. I don't know what it was, but it really happened without me ever planning to be here.
See, I can understand 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think now it's about 10. I think 10 is an understatement.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
How is it that you've been able to get to each and everything? Like what has been that idea? Is it like one has been successful, so you go to another one and you handle that as well? Because it's not easy to be able to be at one place and still manage about 6 to 7 brands.
Yeah, I think it's the opposite. When the first one doesn't run, you start another one, But with all honesty, the truth is that India is such a nascent country. It's just it's just beginning to grow in the terms of sports. So there's so many aspects that need to be fulfilled right now, which nobody else is doing.
Yeah.
And that's why, we see the potential. The founders, the investors see the potential,
Right.
and they want to do more and more and more.
Right.
Because they know for the fact that India is going to be one of the biggest nations of the world very soon in the terms of sports.
Fair.
And that industry is there for the taking right now. So we are like, okay, why should we waste any opportunity that we can get right now?
Yeah, makes sense. And you've been on Forbes as well. How did that go? Being able to have like your piece on Forbes. I saw the magazine as well myself. I think that was a great achievement at this age that you are at. So how was that transition?
Yeah, actually I missed the mark. I was really aiming for 30 under 30.
Right.
That's a segment under Forbes.
Correct.
But yeah, now I'm too
40
old.
under.
I'm 32 right now.
33?
32. Yeah. So yeah, that ship has sailed.
But but you still are.
There's still a chance of 40 under 40, so I'll try for that next time.
Nice. Excellent.
Yeah.
I was also coming to the point, right? You mentioned that you're very passionate about sport. You've come from a sport like handball. You've been managing many sports. One thing that you've not touched, I think, is cricket. Is there any specifics as to why your brand doesn't want to do cricket?
It's not like we don't want to do cricket, but the thing is that the reason why the company was started or was found was because we wanted to give everybody an equal opportunity. So there's so many people doing so much for cricket, but there's nobody doing anything for Kho-Kho, or there's nobody doing anything for, that this was back in the day. Now I know that they have leagues and all that.
Yeah.
But there's no no platform for bridging the gap between you playing, in extracurricular classes or whatever,
right,
and you actually becoming professional.
Right.
So there's a huge gap to be filled.
Right.
And that's the gap that we have to fill that, so that everybody gets an equal opportunity.
Right.
And cricket, that's a sport that everybody's doing school, everybody's doing college, everybody's doing university, everybody's doing professional, everybody's doing women.
Right.
Right? Everything is being done.
Right.
But there's so many sports that need our urgent attention right now. If we really want to grow at the pace that we're set to grow, we need to actually focus on all these domains.
But just to add to that point, right? Making money in a sport that is not cricket, how difficult is that? I understand from where you're coming.
It's very difficult. As of this point, it's so difficult right now that nobody wants to actually fund any other sport because they know they're going to get the maximum return on investment when it's cricket. But just because cricket is, let's just say, the religion right now, doesn't mean that other sports don't have the room to grow. And one of the biggest disruptors of this cricket monopoly was actually PKL, Pro Kabaddi. They proved a point that no, there is room for growth, and we can definitely penetrate the Indian market if you have the right sport, if you have the right production, if you have the right right way that you market it.
Right.
There's no way that it's going to go waste, because even though IPL is a religion right now, but we have 1.5 odd people, billion people. And still, if you look at the numbers that we're doing in terms of revenue that IPL is getting, or the TV rights that IPL is doing, we can do much better. It's still in its infancy right now, in my opinion. I might be wrong, but in my opinion, it's still at its infancy right now.
Fair. Which also comes, what comes to my mind from here is that you said you want to do other sport and you picked up basketball in India. You want to grow basketball, you picked up esports as well. Before we dissect into esports, let's first talk about basketball, right? Yeah. For a sport after cricket, we have kabaddi, which has been touched obviously. How did you decide to take a bet on basketball specifically? Like, why did you decide that I want to bet on basketball and this is a sport that I want to grow? Obviously, you like the sport, but do you see a future investment? What is it like?
So thing is, if you look at the history of India, right, it's very similar to how the US was growing. So even cricket is actually the closest thing that comes to baseball, right?
Right.
And in the US, it was a big religion, just like how cricket is a religion right now in the 70s and the 60s. But then the basketball revolution happened, and baseball, basketball, and American football. These three are the top sports that the US gets their revenue from. There's always a lag effect that happens in India.
Right.
Always you can see in the next 3-4 years, the trends keep coming in, even if it's clothes, even if it's shoes, or even if it's gadgets.
Correct.
Everybody kind of follows the US ecosystem and kind of tries to replicate the same thing here.
Fair.
So basketball was, of course, way ahead of its time.
Right.
The first time we did this was in 2015.
So you're saying you've already finished something with basketball in India?
Yeah.
Okay.
The company was called UBA.
UBA.
Yeah, but eventually because of some like arguments or whatever, there was like you can say what you call it, like a fallback. But then eventually it was just recent 2-3 years ago we plan to relaunch it now.
Right.
Under a new name.
EPBL, which is Elite Pro
Earlier it was
Basketball.
called UBA, now it's called the EPBL.
And it's also exciting to see that in the first year itself, you guys have also got like a women's league, right? Along with that.
Yeah, that's
Elite Women's Pro Basketball League,
Yeah.
which is great. Let's just talk about the numbers, right? Are you looking to make money right now, or you're just looking to grow the sport, or you're just looking to try and get the league? Because I've also heard in terms of the league to be there or let the league function, there are a lot of barriers that you're facing from the federation.
Yeah.
So how is that going?
So the thing is, to be honest, we're not really looking at making money right now. The thing is that we have to definitely grow an audience and do all these things. But
Fair.
of course, like you said, are we going to make money or are we going to grow the sport?
Right.
If we have money, we can grow the sport faster. But if we don't have it, there's still investors who are willing to bet on the basketball ecosystem in India right now.
Right.
Because again, like it's still at its infancy right now. And of course, like the barriers that you mentioned, right? There's so many barriers right now. That's the first reason why I even got into sports.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I had no intention of actually being into sports management. I always wanted to be a sports player.
Right.
But one of the things that I saw, always being inside, always looking at these federations, these associations, there was so much corruption. I have grown up in this corruption. And I had decided to change it no matter what. So just basketball is just a small example of what the country is facing right now. There's so many people who are pulling back the players, pulling back the coaches, and doing all they can to kind of maintain its monopoly right now.
Right. Right. You also finished like a pre-season, I think, Elite Pro Basketball. I was part of it along with you. I was the commentator there as well. And Elite, 3x3 league is also something that is just done. So there are 2 leagues, but there have been challenges there, right?
Yeah.
That's why I want to mention, because there have been challenges that have come from the BFI. How have you managed to tackle that as of today? Because I think there is a league that they are doing by themselves also. So you still have a league. There's a lot of money that's invested there, and that league has already come out as an official BFI league. So what is happening there?
So with the BFI, we already had a dialogue with them. We went to their office in Chennai. We visited them. But in my opinion, the demands were outrageous.
Can I ask, like, what were the demands?
It was, let's just say, more than 200 crore rupees.
Okay.
Yeah, just for the license. And then, of course, like everything else that comes, like the organization, the fees, the salaries, whatever, that's separate.
Right.
So we just think that, like, why can't we just support the athletes directly?
Right.
And what is the reason? So as you know, like BFI tried to ban us or ban the players and ban the coaches to come and play with us.
Right.
Whereas you're not doing anything wrong.
Right.
The main premise of the association of the federation is always that we want to grow the sport. But then that's what we are doing.
So you're saying instead of giving the money directly to the federation, you're saying let the money go to the players.
Yeah, of course. Can you even imagine, like in 200 crore rupees, how much work can be done for the athletes, for the coaches, for the people?
Yeah.
Because there's so much that's missing right now in the ecosystem.
Correct.
And nobody really cares about it right now, in my opinion, in the federation.
Right. I think recently, according to the stats that I have, they received 200 plus crores on a 7-year deal for the league that they're doing right now.
Yeah, they did an announcement, but just recently, like a month ago, they came up with another news article that they were still seeking for more bids for running the pro league.
Right.
So yeah.
So do you think that league will suffice? What is your?
Just having the league doesn't make any sense, because let's just say this, that in India we have around 15 million NBA fans, casual NBA fans.
Watching.
No, NBA fans.
Fans. Okay, just fans.
Right. But they just did the INBL. They had the first season recently.
Right.
And like if you look at YouTube, they were streaming it on YouTube. There's not even 400 or 300 views. So something is missing over here. It's not just the league that's going to make all the all the difference.
Right.
There has to be a complete roadmap where an athlete can actually get a scholarship, get a full ride, probably also get some camps or training camps where he can go abroad, or he or she can go abroad and train some something else. So that's missing right now.
And is it something that your brand is doing?
Yeah,
EPBL?
of course.
What is it that that EPBL does right now for these players that you're mentioning?
So of course we do collegiate Unislam. That's one of the things that we do.
Right.
It's like the NCAA March Madness that happens in the States. in the States we have 64 universities that compete against each other. And of course, the winner or the final four is a huge deal.
Right.
This concept in the US had a $10.8 billion deal for a 10-year partnership.
Coming from the college scene.
This college basketball alone.
Wow.
That just shows that there's so much growth that can happen. But this is still an industry that's untouched.
Right. Fair. I was also going to come to the point that now where are you with EPBL? You know, where do you think like Indian basketball will go? Considering that you have a little bit of competition as well. NBA itself is trying to make inroads into India, right? So are you looking at them as collaborators, helpers? Do you think EPBL is going to kick off anytime soon? Anything in plan? What are the investors saying?
No, of course we look at NBA as a potential collaborator. We even had a dialogue with them in the States and also in India.
Right.
The thing is that there's a lot of support that we can bring, a lot of support that they can bring as well.
Right.
It's a good win-win situation that can happen.
Okay.
So we don't really see them as a competition because they're doing their own thing. They're doing NBA in the US. They don't really aim to have a league in India. Because that's not what they want to do. They're a multi-billion-dollar enterprise. Just one of the teams is valued around $6.1 billion.
Makes sense.
So it's not going to make a huge difference for them to come in the Indian basketball scene right now.
Right.
When it's still at its infancy right now.
Correct.
So there's of course like a lot of room for collaborations, partnerships.
Right.
And of course we'll explore that soon.
Right. And with EPBL, you think that the league will kick off anytime soon?
Yeah, definitely. So the thing is, as you know, like the IMBL happened recently, and a lot of our players actually had to go there because they had to comply with the BFI. See, they all have government jobs, railways, army, air force, police, and they have to basically comply with every single compliance that they come up with.
Right.
So when they say, okay, if you don't stick with us, and if you go to this league, if you play for this league, if you earn a living, or if you get more money from somebody else, we'll ban you. And right now the thing is that India is a country where security is more important.
Fair.
That age is still here where any woman's parents will go to guy and like ask them like, hey, do you have a government job or do you have a private job? Right?
Makes sense.
And of course they'll always incline towards the guy with the government job. That's for a reason, because you have security.
So what I can make of this is like, apart from cricket, right? If you're playing another sport, you're actually dependent on the government right now. If you have a government job, you can play that sport. And then if a private league comes into the scene, it becomes difficult for you unless and until the private league is with the government.
Exactly.
The government wants to extract money from there.
Exactly.
Whereas with cricket, what's happening is that I think you play 2 years of the IPL and 2 months of the IPL, and you're good enough even to suffice for
Exactly. It's a sustainable system, right? Other associations, federations are literally just going to the government and saying like, hey sir, can we have more money? Hey sir, can we have more money? More money. But what's happening with BCCI is that they're completely independent. They don't need any funding from the government. In fact, they're giving taxes to the government right now. They're supporting the Indian sports ecosystem and not really taking away from it. So that's why it's very important for for us to have like a non-political kind of a system where it's more transparent. You have platforms. You don't just have the bureaucracy and diplomacy of just having a association and everybody has to stay happy inside the association, even if the athletes are rotting on the streets.
Yeah, makes sense. If we can keep EPBL aside for a minute and we come to esports as well. You had teams in Valorant, BGMI, Battlegrounds Mobile India, one of the best lineup. We've seen you be on stage as well for BGMI. I've been to one of those tournaments as well. Crazy out there, the way things function in the esports scene. I think I was new to it as well, but what I saw happen in esports, I thought, there is growth and everything. But suddenly things change for your team, right? Where is it now? What's happening? Do you see the scope for it in India?
So with Mogo, of course, we fielded a team maybe around 5 months ago, but we decided to drop that because the main issue that we saw was lack of a proper roadmap. For example, the players were taking, let's just say, around $10,000 a month just in salaries alone.
And aren't these players young? Aren't these
they're
like
very
16,
young. They're
17?
They're all 18 plus, but let's just say 19, 20.
Right.
And they're all earning like 3 lakhs, 4 lakhs.
Because I was trying to mention this point, I think 20-year-old is making more than what my mom would make right now, right? Just playing on the phone, so it's crazy to see, companies have to pay for that.
You can't take away the fact that they are best at what they do.
Fair.
They have put in the work, they put in the effort.
Right.
At the same time, the salaries that they are demanding are not just in terms of the returns, because if you look at the roadmap. Let's just say if you are paying 10 lakh rupees in salary every month to these players. I'm just talking about BGMI right now. 10 lakh a month. That's 1 crore 20 lakhs in the entire year.
Right.
And the money can only be recouped if there's 3 official tournaments that the Craft and Management has.
Okay.
BGIS, BGMS and BGPS. That's a Battleground India series, Mobile series and the Pro series.
Right.
If we win all 3, then probably we can recoup the money back.
That's probably.
Probably. Yeah. So there's a big probability that comes into play.
Right.
Which of course no investor, no business wants to see.
And sponsorship?
Sponsorship is of course one of the important things, but nobody really wants to invest or nobody wants to sponsor an esports team right now, knowing that they can in the same money they can go to an influencer, they can go to a Bollywood celebrity, they can do this and that. You know, there's not the return on investment is not valid over there.
Correct.
They can invest in IPL, they can sponsor IPL and actually get some more returns out of that.
Do you think the esports ecosystem is also lacking somewhere and something needs to be done to hold them together right now?
I mean, honestly speaking, it all depends on the players. No, sorry, not the players, but the developers.
Developers, fair.
Yeah. So if they develop a good, sustainable roadmap, for example, we also had a Valorant team.
Right.
And their roadmap was amazing.
Yeah.
Because you have a systematic roadmap, and every single underdog gets a chance of making it big one day.
Right.
But that's not the same case everywhere. So this lack of like uniformity and the lack of a proper roadmap is hurting not just me or not just our company, but a lot of entities right now in today's
Yeah, because I see every year at least there is one esports organization that shuts down, right? I've been friends with a lot of esports casters as well. I've seen them talk to me about different organizations who are now failing to make money and who are looking for more investment. I'm coming to a point where that how much is it that you burn approximately owning an esports firm? Because I think you have to give these players stay, you have to give them phones, different other things.
Accommodation, food, phones, travel, allowance, this and that.
Everything. You treat them like an IPL team basically.
Yeah, exactly. Even better probably.
Oh.
Yeah. But yeah, like I mean, it all depends on like, what is the end goal that you're looking for. For example, there's so many companies right now that are in esports right now, they're burning money like crazy. But that's not the end goal. The end goal is not
a range.
A monthly range.
Can you give me a range?
So it can actually go from, there's a lot of players, there's a lot of underdogs.
Right.
If they luckily get a chance to actually make it big, or if they win a lot of these tier B, tier C tournaments and they make it to the tier A, it can be as low as 1 lakh, 1.5 lakh per month.
This is what you have to pay them, you're saying?
Yeah, to pay them.
Okay.
But if they make it big, and if they are in the ecosystem and they're qualifying for multiple tournaments again and again, of course their rates start going up. And if you see a lot of these players, right, they jump from one org to another, to another. So it's like I give 1 lakh, the other guy's offering 1 lakh 10,000.
Yeah.
So that guy's gonna go to the guy who's offering him more money.
So there is no you would say like that team loyalty. Like if someone's giving you better salary, you're bound to probably switch to that team.
Yeah. Nothing like that. There's no loyalty as such.
Right. And as a firm, right, I was coming to that. Give me a range on how much a firm needs to have. What is the bandwidth that you need to have as a firm to hold on to an esports team at least for a year? Right? If there is probably someone who tomorrow thinks ki chalo let's start an esports company. How much bandwidth do they need to have in the bank?
I would say at least 1 CR.
1 CR.
Yeah.
Just for a year?
Just for a year. If you want a team that actually gets you something back, and you want to like cater to all their needs and make them travel everywhere, do a lot of social media for
Activation,
them. Yeah. Otherwise, there's no point, right?
Yeah.
Because a lot of these esports gamers, even today, they're not getting the deals or not getting any sponsors because they are good in esports.
Right.
They are good content creators. That's the reason why the brands are coming to them.
Interesting point. Yeah.
Otherwise, nobody's giving 2 craps about how well do you play. Yeah, nobody cares about that.
Fair. I was because you mentioned about 100 crores, right? I was coming to this very important stat that I have, which is about the sports budget of India. It's this year, at least for 25-26, we have about 3,397 crores that's been allotted. This is a sports budget in specific. Now, cricket from this gets zero. Right, cricket is getting zero from this, so there is no money that cricket is taking from the sports budget of India. My point coming then, where is the money being utilized, and why is it that the quality of sports in India is probably not improving. Where do you think?
See, I'm not the
going?
sports minister.
No, I'm asking.
So that's not a question for me.
Yeah, I'm asking. Where is
But
it? Do you think we are going wrong as a CEO?
I think so. We did meet with a lot of sports ministers earlier, the earlier sports ministers, and one thing that was common was that they were all looking to broad base sports. So I think that's what's going wrong, in my opinion, right? That they want to broad base sports.
Can you elaborate a little?
So broad basing, what I mean by broad basing is that everybody should play. Khelo India, everybody play. Play India, Khelo India, Run India, this and that. It's all good. But why should a guy do that? Why should a guy pursue, that as a goal? There's no, there's no roadmap. Okay, so you play a lot in your school level, but then what happens after 10th standard? Your parents say, keep the ball, keep your shoes, and sit inside and study. And be an engineer, be a doctor, get an MBA degree. Because that's the truth, right?
Yeah,
because if you're a sportsman, you're treated as low as a janitor right now. And you're not treated as, oh, bhai, this is a sportsman. Wow, look at this guy. No.
Except if you're a cricketer.
Yeah. Cricket is a big exception. Probably even football. And even right now, Kabaddi is breaking that barrier.
Correct.
Nobody ever thought that Kabaddi can actually be a commercial sport, but that's now changing.
Yeah.
Right?
Fair.
But if you still look at a league like Kho-Kho, let's just say, if you see and if you find a guy on the street and he's like a Kho-Kho player and you're like, oh, you're a Kho-Kho player, okay. Are you still going to be like, okay, give me an autograph? No,
Maybe
right?
not. Yeah.
Yeah, you probably won't even know who that guy is.
Fair.
So there's a huge gap. So you can broad base all you want, but for a person to win, in the Olympics or actually represent them in the international level, you need a lot of work that has to put into it. Because look at this, we have only gotten around 35 medals till this date in Olympics. And look at US. Every single year they get more than 150. I mean, every single Olympics they get more than 150 medals.
When you own a sports company, right, what has been the biggest challenge for you? Is it the growth of an audience or revenue generation?
I think it's all correlated to each other, because if you have a good audience, then you have a better leverage. But of course, just having a good audience does not mean that you can make money. We've seen in a lot of things that even if you have a good audience, that revenue generation doesn't always come into play, because you can put in a lot of money to reach to that point where you have a lot of people following you or fan base or whatever. But what you do to capitalize on that is what matters.
Let's just quickly get into the educational bit of it also, because there are a lot of entrepreneurs, I'm sure, who would want to start a league like this, own a team someday. There'll be students who will then go and start to get into the sports scene. If you had to tell us a step-by-step process of starting a league, say you started EPBL, right? How does one start a league? What goes into it? Who do you approach first? Is there a roadmap for that?
So of course, first, just like any other business, you have to find somebody who can give you seed capital, so that you can do your research. You can do like a small research that is this actually even a feasible model, and then you have to generate an entire a roadmap for them. That okay, if you do this, if you put in this much, you're gonna get returns which will be 100x or 200x. Maybe not today, but maybe in 20 years, 25 years. It really depends on how much time it's gonna take. But yeah, that's the first step, and then of course you have to identify a good talent. You have to identify which teams will play. You have to work on getting the players actually on your side. And of course, it might be different for everybody, but we haven't had the luxury of working with the federation. So of course that was different for us, but might not be the same for everybody else. So if the federation is working with them, nothing like it. It's perfect. Things will go as smooth as you can. But the main challenge that comes back is how can you capitalize on that? Because there's a lot of leagues that happen, like boxing happened, badminton happened, and I know they made good revenues, but I'm sure they are still losing money till this day. So it really depends on how do you. So you have to work on what a business plan would be, and only spending how much you can actually recoup for your investors.
How do you pitch it to your investors when you have a non-cricketing sport? What did you tell them, Kiar? I think there are 16 teams now that we looked at for
16 men's team and 6 women's team.
6 women's teams. So you have owners for all teams, right? And these are US based owners as well. Some I think are in the mix. So how do you manage to pitch to them and tell them, that this sport
because they can see what the future beholds. So the thing is, if you're in India, and if I were to pitch you hey, why don't you buy this? Let's just say pickleball team, for example. Pickleball is growing. I know it's a bad example.
Yeah, I would
but
just
let's
want to
just say,
say,
yeah, pickleball.
I would come to you.
Yeah. But okay, let's not do pickleball. Let's just do basketball. Right?
Okay.
If you go to basketball and you say like, okay, like let's do basketball. The thing is, they've all seen basketball being played outdoors on a cement court, broken backboards, broken nets. You know, they think that's basketball in India. And on on the international level, we are 81, ranked 81 right now.
Okay.
But when you go to the US, when you see the power of sports and the commercialization of sports that's happening there, in terms of American sports like basketball, football, your entire mind like shifts into a different level altogether.
It's basically like jo dikhta hai wahi bikta hai.
Yeah, I mean, if you're in India, if you don't see the ecosystem there, trust me, you will feel like इससे बड़ा तो कुछ हो ही नहीं सकता. But when you go there, when you see like how big it can be, the US generates almost around $70 billion every year in sports revenue.
In sports
$70 billion every year in sports revenue. So you can just imagine. And we celebrate small victories because that's much needed.
Yeah.
But even if you compare the IPL, it's still not, even a fraction of what the US sports ecosystem is. And there's so many sports that they run, right? There's UFC, there's WWE, which is not sports / entertainment, whatever. But, there's NBA, NFL, MLB, MLS now is huge. So, I mean, the ecosystem is huge. It's vast. And they know, they know what the returns can be. But in India, it's impossible for you to actually even think unless and until you follow it very deeply. You'll be like, no, this is what is there. Because we have been to a lot of Indian team owners also.
Yeah.
They all say this one thing. If it's not cricket, we're not putting any money in. They would rather spend double the money or triple the money on a small billboard, in an IPL stadium. But they won't spend the money to have a team.
In India.
In India, yeah.
You just mentioned some numbers about 70 odd billion for coming from the US.
Yeah.
Now I have a few numbers coming from a report that Google and Deloitte have done, right? There's a report from Google and Deloitte which says in the next 5 years, by 2030, sports ecosystem in India is going to about 130 billion plus. However, we still see a lot of students right now in India who want to study abroad for sports specifically, right? Who also want to look for jobs abroad for sports. Are you guys hiring? Are there jobs in the scene right now? What is it like?
Was this a fix-up?
No, I'm just saying because a lot of students are there, right? So I've got these questions like, in terms of sport, people are still very hesitant to take this up as a career.
Yeah.
Because everyone wants to become an engineer, doctor. When you think of sports, you think of becoming an athlete.
Yeah.
But what about the other side of sport? There's broadcast, there's operations.
In my opinion, not everybody aspires to be a doctor and engineer. It's all like the parents or the older generation who actually pushes them to be a doctor and engineer, right? But yeah, when you're in sports, I think what's very important is, like what we're missing right now is, like I said, the lack of the ecosystem. Because if you're in cricket, definitely you would want to maybe play in the IPL one day, or even if you get to be a coach or even a physiotherapist, you take great pride in that.
Fair.
But if you go to an ISL team, for example, and ISL is probably the 4th most watched league in India, whatever. Third, right? But like if you go to ISL and if you actually you don't really take pride in that in the same way that you would probably take pride in being in the US and working for a team that's getting a lot more revenue, that has a lot more fan base, that has a lot more appeal to the masses.
Right.
Because I mean it's the entire perception is very different, like you said.
Right.
The entire perception is very different.
Right.
There, anybody who's a sportsman is celebrated so hugely, in such a big way.
Right.
It's not the same in India.
Yeah, but my point being here, out of all this, what about the job scene? Do you think, like it's projected right now that by 2030, 130 billion plus market that we have, will it grow in the same way? Do you think there is jobs available?
It will grow. It will grow for sure. I don't know about the numbers, the $130 billion, because if you read the report, a big chunk is about supplementations and food products. Some is TV rights, some is sponsorship, some is merchandise, some is like you selling a cricket bat. Or, like there's a huge variety of components that have gone into that.
Right.
So it's not just 130 billion in sports TV rights and media rights and broadcasting and all that.
Right.
So
sorry.
Yeah.
So
like I mean, just in comparison, if you go to any other country, not just US, if you go to UK, look at how much money the soccer teams bring in, the football teams are bringing in.
Yeah.
It's a huge difference compared to India. Even when the Indian sports market becomes 130 billion, you'll have other markets that will actually become bigger because they're going proactively in that domain.
Right.
Because sports is a money maker, not a money taker.
Oh.
Yeah, and that's the point that the government is missing right now, and even the associations and federations are missing because they are doing broad basing and everything. But what they should do is they should encourage people, who want to invest in the leagues or they want to invest in like sports academies. They need to subsidize those people or maybe even just help those people and not be a barrier for them to actually establish the sport or grow the sport. So that's a huge difference that's coming in.
With so much knowledge that you have now, because you've been in the sports business scene, if there's someone who wants to get into sports business, what would be that one advice to them from an educational perspective?
I'd say take a U-turn and run as fast as you can. No, I'm just kidding. That's not true. But yeah, like I think. So of course, if you really want to work in sports, the first thing that I would suggest would be to be a sportsman yourself. That's
Feel the game.
That's what we're seeing right now. Is that a lot of people who are saying, giving speeches and teaching you how to like run a sports league or sports team. They haven't actually played the sport themselves, and that's a huge difference maker. It's a game changer when it comes to like being in the sports domain.
Right.
Maybe you might not use the practical knowledge, but even like the the psychological things that you learn, like teamwork, like team spirit, that all helps a lot.
Right.
And it enables you to understand, okay, like what can I do and where do I stand from the sportsman's perspective.
Right.
And that's a field that's completely untouched right now, apart from IPL.
Correct.
So of course, the land is completely vacant right now. They can go in, but yeah, one thing that they have to keep in mind is like, if you have some other alternatives, you need to like also pursue them, not just in the sake of like there's no scope in sports, but only for the fact that you need more and more things. You need more and more things coming in. I've seen a lot of people who have done MBA in sports management, but they have never got the practical knowledge.
Right.
Because there's nothing that they can even practice in or they can even volunteer in, and that's a huge gap that's missing right now.
So along with them starting something in sports business, if they had to know how much money you can make, what can an annual sports turnover look like? What would that range that you would want to give them, if you had to give them a range?
If they were to start a company or if they were to work here?
Maybe both. You've been on the hiring side. You've been.
So that's the thing, right? If you do a sports management course, and if you're in India, you get paid. The starting salary is like 20,000 rupees a month.
Entry level.
Entry level.
After doing an MBA.
After doing an MBA in sports management, you get a 20,000 rupee a job.
Entry level.
Yeah, the same thing. If you take that same degree and if you go to the
US.
UK, UKS, if you even go to like UAE, for example, now, you get paid maybe like 10 times or 15 times more than what you can get paid here.
Right.
So why would anybody want to, be here? So that you have to keep in mind, that the entry might not be, where you see it happening, but there's definitely a lot of upside if you perform well, if you are able to actually establish like what you are bringing to the table.
Right.
If you are new, if you're bringing in new ideas, new concepts, that's much needed right now.
And when you're on this side, where you are right now, where you're hiring people and you have, where you're creating jobs, I would say, how much does the range look like?
It really depends. So I actually segment in two sections. One is cricket and one is non-cricket. So if you're in cricket, the revenue looks much bigger than what you can do in non-cricket things.
Fair.
Even if you have a corporate league, for example, you can earn a lot more money than a pro basketball league can.
This you're talking about cricket.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. So that's a big differential. So, but the future is looking bright, and with the right people, with the right concepts, with the right implementation, I think we can actually be a big sports ecosystem, and this can change. In terms of the numbers, I think cricket you can look at least 100 crores every year. In terms of basketball, or even if you're doing like kho-kho or I don't know, like volleyball even, I think if you're making around 15-20 CR, that's what you can look at right now.
Right now.
Yeah, but this is something that's going to grow exponentially. But the cricket market is going to be saturated in the next 5 years.
Didn't you feel someday that, okay, what I'm doing right now is great, maybe I should also start something with cricket, try and generate some revenue from there and fund these, other companies?
Yeah, we can, but the main thing that we have is time. And if we spend our time on cricket right now, there's going to be some other competitors that are going to come to the market. And we already built a lot of, we've done a lot of grassroots work.
Right.
And we don't want that to go waste. So we have to be focused. We have to have the horses blinds on, and we have to be just like focused on what we have to establish. Because like if we do cricket, it doesn't make us stand out from the other 200 or 250 people. Who are doing the same thing.
Fair.
But if you're doing a basketball league, now you have probably just one opposition or one competition. So that's a huge difference that we have. And especially on the university side, there's nobody doing what we are doing.
Right. So if you can elaborate, I was just going to come to that. You've been seeing grassroots sports also for a long time, which is what you spoke about. You have a liking for college and university sports in the US, which is great. Like they are making money for brands.
Yeah.
College students obviously make money, mint money. They're also making money for the brands that are there in India. From a college and university perspective, right now we don't have that scene. That's going on. But your brand is there right now, USI, which is been doing a lot. So how does that angle look like? Are you looking to make money? Are you looking to just be there in the scene and grow from there?
Of course, every company wants to make money. But so what has been missing so far was the NCAA model, like the States.
Correct.
Where you play all year round, you have seasons that you play.
Right.
Whereas in AIU, Association of Indian Universities, you just do like one West Zone and one All India. And if you win the West Zone, you get to play in the All India.
Which is currently happening now.
Currently it's happening right now. And now the government came in with the Khelo India thing.
Correct.
Where the top 8, the same teams that have already played in the AIU.
It's like you're playing the Champions League.
Yeah, you're playing it again, right?
Correct.
So, but what's happening to the other 1,000 plus universities is that they are not doing anything for them. So why should even a player actually, play sports? Because they know, like, okay, I have to study now. I don't have any facilities around me to support what I want to do.
Right.
So they're like, okay, fine, like, screw it. I'll just, get back to studies and there's no scope. And साल में एक बार tournament आएगा, वो खेलने मिला तो ठीक है, नहीं मिला तो फिर क्या कर सकते हैं?
And that's where you guys come in.
That's where we come in. We are, building up conferences where they can have the same model, where they get a platform. We film, we broadcast, we live stream every single thing that the university does.
Right.
Be it chess, karate, judo, table tennis, basketball, and even cricket. We recently did cricket also.
Right.
But that's for supporting the university level.
Correct.
Not anything else. That's to support the university as a brand.
Grassroots.
Yeah, for them to understand that, okay, fine, I can work on sports. I can build better facilities and make sure that more people get to know about me. So, a lot of universities, private universities are investing huge money because they understand the power of sports. If I'm a basketball player, I want to go to a university where they have basketball courts and not just synthetic or cement courts outdoors. I want to see like the wooden court indoors.
Right.
I want to see a few stands where they might have. Exactly.
Yeah.
And that grows the culture, which is missing right now. That's the gap that we are bridging right now. Because earlier what is happening is once you are in 10th, like I said, the parents are like, you drop the ball, keep the ball and focus on studies. Right. And there are two paths that a person chooses. If he's from good big house, big household, he has the luxury of still, playing sports, but still it's extracurricular activity. But if you go to the middle class people, they'll be like, no, you keep it down. You have to get good grades so that you can get a scholarship or you get in a good college or you become a doctor, become an engineer. And when we talk about the lower level people, the lower class people, what they do is they see, okay, fine, if I play well in sports, I will get a government job.
Right.
So their aim is not to become the best in the world. Their aim is to be, okay, I'll just get a government job.
While playing sports.
While playing sports.
I just another question come to my mind with that is, who do you think makes it big in sport in India? Do you have to be from a specific class? If you have the money, if your parents have the money, only then will you be able to make it big in sport in India? Or maybe like a tier 2, tier 3, player coming from a tier 2, tier 3 city can also make it big?
The thing is, everybody can make it big. But will you sustain that same, same money that you can make while you're a sportsman?
While growing.
A sportsman makes, on an average in India, makes around 5 lakh rupees in a year.
This is government job, private
job? Government job, private job, both average.
Okay.
About 4 to 5 lakh rupees in a year. I'm not talking about cricket again. Okay. I'm talking about the populace, the big picture.
Right, right.
So what's happening here is The same thing if you go to the States or if you go to UK again. Like if you compare it with the other countries, you can get paid again 20x, 25, even 100x sometimes. And but the thing is, what's happening is right now they are being lured by, okay, you'll get a government job. Government job. Once you get a government job, you're not going to get fired. You're not going to get terminated. You can still be there. They don't really care about growing you as a player after you join the services or after you join the police or after you join the railways. All they will care about is, okay, fine. If you can just give me this inter-railway trophy or services trophy, I'm good. Like that's all I want.
Yeah.
And they practice with that in their mind. Today, the top sportsmen in the world, in the country, are all from the government sector. You know why? Because the person who has enough money will be like, okay, no, I cannot sustain the same lifestyle that I have right now.
Right.
Doing sports.
Right.
I need to pivot into something else. I need to go in something else where I can sustain the same lifestyle that I have.
Right. To the point, right? You mentioned so much about athletes. I'm going to come to a little, challenges of it maybe. Something which is a little more hard hitting, I think. You've been the CEO of a sports firm. Obviously, we spoke about EPBL, we talking about Mogo, Esports. Now that firm tanked, right?
Yeah.
What are your challenges personally? You had so many firms, one of it is obviously tanked. Meaning, I don't know what's gone in there. Yeah. But if you can just, explain to us as to when a firm goes down, what happens and what have you learned from it?
Right. So, I mean, I won't say it went down because the company is still listed, but I just did not see myself, being able to resonate with what the company is standing for right now.
Right.
So what happened is this the business plan or this strategy changed, but does not mean that, it's not a good market or not a good business.
Fair.
In terms of just me failing personally, that's something that, I take pride in. I wear it like a badge of honor. Okay, you failed. That means that you tried, which is, I know, like, people look at you with
which is what you mentioned at the start, that when one thing gets over, you start with something.
Yeah,
exactly, so I'm hoping there'll be a 12th or a 13th company.
You always reroute, right?
Yeah.
When you see like a road is closed, what do?
Yeah, you take another.
Do you like just stay there for the entire life?
Yeah.
No,
you'll take another.
Exactly. So that's what we do.
Fair.
Because like I said, there's so many opportunities right now in India that there's nothing that we can't touch and make a huge difference. Like you said, it's all going to grow in the next 5 years, like the Deloitte report says.
Right.
But what matters is like, okay, what role are you playing today to reach to that target?
So if one door is closed, for the next door, you have to pitch to other few investors. How do you pitch that vision to them in terms of for them to buy?
See, it's usually the same investors. We have started with the same investors,
right.
And with God's grace, they've all been with us till now.
Nice.
And because they believe in the bigger level, right? They want to actually support the athletes. The root of why it all started was because we wanted to support the athletes. We wanted them to get jobs. We wanted them to get recognition. We wanted them not to be garbage men anymore.
Right.
We wanted them to have a status in the, in the classes in India, like how people can be. So we wanted that to happen. And of course, like, whenever we see somebody, for us, it's like, okay, even if a single person who we knew back in the college days is making it big in the Olympics or even reaches the Olympics, we take huge pride in that. So that's what we wanted. So we are still doing that. What's happening is, like, I would not say anything has failed so far. It's all just on halt till we have the winner. We have these 10 companies lined up, but we need one winner to support these other 9 companies.
So it's like a marathon basically,
where
you are the owner, you are the runner.
It's like a relay, rather, I would say.
Relay?
Yeah, it's a relay.
Nice example.
You have to run as fast as you can and then pass the baton to the next company. And then they have to pass the baton to the next company.
And then you'll see which one hits the bullseye,
or
which one completes the race, and then you target on that. If I also had to ask you, what is one thing that outsiders, you don't understand about what happens inside a sports firm, or how do you run like a sports company, right? So what is that one thing that outsiders don't understand or see about you?
I think they don't really understand, like, it's a huge difference. It's not just like having a factory and manufacturing something and selling it, or not being a retailer, not being a shopkeeper. There's a huge difference. Because, like, again, like till this point, like, I recently got married, but my wife's entire family, initially looked at me like, okay, he does sports, like, does he have a job, or like, is he a sportsman? That's the kind of things that people think about.
When people say sports, you have to be a sportsman.
They asked her, like, does he have a job or is he a sportsman?
Yeah.
So that's the harsh truth in life, and that's how a lot of people see you.
And were you able to
Yeah,
convince
yeah, I
them?
was able to, but yeah, it was quite difficult to say the least. But yeah, I was able to.
Fair. Yeah, I was coming to this very interesting point, right? Because I had this in mind that you haven't touched cricket yet, and you've been doing so many other sports. Now, I personally feel that cricket in India has set like a structure. Right, you have to give it to the BCCI, because the BCCI, people will say BCCI makes money, and there is politics and everything that's involved. But the BCCI makes money and gives money to its players, which is the prime importance, right? So I think in a way cricket is doing great. Why is it that other federations and sports are not able to replicate what the BCCI is doing in terms of giving money back to the players?
Because they're not getting any money. Because they're acting as a roadblock, not as a booster. They need to be a launch pad right now, but right now this is a roadblock. So it's a huge difference. What BCCI did was, of course, they dismantled the previous association or whatever.
Right.
But since they came in power, they made it a point that they're going to, they're going to make a lot of money. It's not a not-for-profit association.
NGO.
Yeah, it's not an NGO right now, because the truth is, all federations and associations do make money. They just do it in a way where you can't spot it. BCCI does it openly. And I don't see any problem in anybody earning money.
Yeah.
Right?
Fair.
But it has to be overt and it has to be transparent.
And that's what BCCI
was
go to the
able
right.
Exactly.
To the players.
It's amazing. Like if you're taking 10,000 crores and if you're giving 10 crores to 10 players, if you're still keeping like the other whatever, like 9,900 crores, it's amazing. You're doing a great job.
Fair.
Compare that same thing to the associations who are getting crores and crores, hundreds of crores of rupees from every association is getting 100 crore rupees from the government. And still, what are they doing? What is the player getting in return? What is he getting in return?
Nothing.
Because they're keeping it all, they're rerouting it all. Like they host camps at their own, own venues, and they're like, okay, fine, we'll build it to them. They're tampering with the food that they're being served. They're giving them like bad nutrition instead of like, meat, or instead of poultry, instead of milk, they're giving like adulterated milk. They're giving like, I don't know, like dal chawal to the players. That's all they get. You can go to any player and they'll tell you the real truth.
Yeah,
they're not really getting.
We've seen a few trial videos as well where our state players have to travel by, I think, trains as well, which they don't even have like a proper seat. Booking.
Yeah, they don't even have booking.
Yeah, which is
even when I was a player, when I used to play handball, we used to go to the state level games and stuff like that. We used to be in the general compartment and we had to sleep on the floor of the trains. And this wasn't once. I've played around 15 nationals. Every single time I went, we never had a proper booking. Never. Not even once.
Always. Reservation against confirmation. RAC.
We don't need it. Yeah.
You never need it.
Yeah.
It's crazy, but so we are in the 20, we've crossed about, we say that we are moving over and over years after years, 2020, 2022, 2024. It's a new century, it's a new decade. When does this change? Do you think it will ever change?
What do you mean?
Like this, the scene, right? Like, about bookings, about players, about their health, about their nutrition.
It will change. It will change. It will take some time for them to realize that there's a lot of money to be made. And just with the Kabaddi Association, you can see they have literally changed the entire scene 180 degrees. And like just that roadmap, if everybody follows that same roadmap, I can see a lot of new people doing very well. You can see the Pro Volley League, they're doing very well.
Yeah.
You can see the PKL, you can see the Kho League, you can see the Pickleball League that's happening.
Yeah.
Right, so all these people are doing great, but there's still a lot of like those old age people who will not be there always. They'll one day be voted out. One day somebody will come and be like, okay, fine,
Fair.
You need to give this to the right hands.
You mentioned very interesting points about so many leagues in India. Just want to put this thought right. Are we creating more leagues than we are creating fans?
Yeah, absolutely.
Is it dangerous? Do you think it's dangerous or you think it's okay?
I think it's dangerous for the people who are putting the money in. I think it's very good for the potential fans that will be there one day. What's happening is there's a huge supply and demand issue right now.
Right.
There's a lot of supply, but there's no demand. Like I told you about the INBL. INBL spent a lot of money. Of course, I'm pretty sure. I don't know for a fact like how much did they spend, but of course it wasn't free. They put up a great show. They had a lot of celebrities, but in spite of all those celebrities and instead of that, being on Sony and all that, they're only able to generate around 1,000 views or 900 views, and you're not even able to go back to the same populace that follows NBA. Just that basketball fan. Like you're not even able to get that fan back to the screen and be like, okay, I have my own league now. I have my own country's league right now.
This is something what Sunil Chetri also mentioned about Indian football. He said that, I go and watch a Premier League because the quality of Premier League is something very different, and that's why I will not come and watch something like ISL because he's not finding the quality there. So you're saying, I think the same thing where you're saying that the quality of Indian basketball has to improve. That's when
by a lot
people will.
That will only happen once you have a good university feeder system. You don't have it today.
Right.
You're just relying on the coach's advice, or the coach will be like, okay, fine, like you give me 10,000 rupees and I'll refer your name to the guy who's electing. Yeah, this is the truth. Like this still goes on till this day.
Yeah, it's still prevalent.
It's still there. Yeah. Look at the people that are in the Indian, representing India as a country in international games. They're always coming last or second last or third last. And the thing is, like, you have 1.5 billion people.
Yeah.
And still you're not able to, give more medals. I think at least you should be able to give 50 medals in one Olympic.
Yeah.
And we have given them what, like last Olympic, I think it was 3 or 4.
Yeah, not many. But I think the Olympics is coming to India very soon, and I think that's the budget itself this year of about 3,000 plus crores is specifically so that the Olympics has a lot of money and more growth is in there. What's going to happen, not going to happen, not sure. But I was coming to the question that you've survived in a sports business scene, non-cricketing sports business scene for a long time. Just before I move into my last segment, what is that one advice you'd want to give? What's your secret sauce, if I had to ask?
Just be implacable. I have a tattoo on my arm as well.
I was going to come to that. Yeah, that's what you have.
Yeah, you have to be implacable.
If you can explain the word.
Implacable means that you cannot be deterred. You cannot be, convinced that it's not good enough. You have to stay steady. Relentless is another synonym for that.
Interesting. Because you're an entrepreneur, right? You've just been married now. I think it's been a year plus that you're married. Yeah. How important is your wife's role, in your journey, your family?
It's very, very important, of course. Like, I mean, to say the least, it's not, it's very difficult for me sometimes, but it's even more difficult for her. Because, she has to deal with that. I stay up till like 5 a.m. every day, every night. And, because all people are in other countries, so you have to like talk to everybody. So, of course, like there's a huge gap that has to be filled, but you need to have somebody who's understanding. So, the role of a family plays a huge role in, like, in the way you work, because it's not the usual 9 to 5.
Are you able to manage your marriage, your professional life, personal life right now? That because all these years you've been at it, you've been very aggressive in the scene, but now life's changed for you in the last 1 year.
I think it hasn't really changed for me, but of course for my wife it has changed. For my family, they know like how it is for me. Because they themselves were in the sports domain.
Right.
And the first thing that they advised me when I was getting into this business was like, do anything but don't go into sports. Yeah. But I don't know.
You've gone there.
This is of course. Being a rebellious kid, like you have to be.
Yeah.
I was like, no. Like, why do you say that? Because my parents were my heroes, right? They were both in sports. They were doing a lot of good things for sports people.
Right.
And of course, they were facing the same kind of, corruption or malpractices that were happening. And I was like, okay, what can I do to change this?
Right.
So initially, I wanted to be just so good that nobody can, deny me or nobody can ignore me. I wanted to be that good. But life doesn't work that way. I realized that later. You have to grease people's palms and do this and that. So that's why you need a transparent model.
Right.
Where no talent can go hidden. It's not just about broad basing.
Yeah, I was just coming to mental health, right? We speak a lot about mental health of the athletes. What about your mental health as an entrepreneur? Is there some stress? Are you doing something?
I'd always like to believe that is good.
But are you doing something about it? Is there any,
Not really, but usually my family is there to support me, my friends, my colleagues, and I've had the luxury of, always being in this environment where all my colleagues are like my best friends. So I think it's all good. It's stressful sometimes, but in the end of the day, when you see like you have the people that you love around you, or if it's your family, who like you have a question with your family, you can always go back to them and say it the way it is. Be it so stressful, like I might be very stressed out, but if I go to my parents, they always have something to add, and that actually helps me a lot.
Give me your learnings as a sports CEO being in India.
I think time has taught me a lot. I've, like I said, I joined the company when I was 16, and I'm 32. So I literally like spent more time, being employed rather than being unemployed.
Right.
So I've learned a lot of things across the way. I know for a fact that there's a huge scope, there's a huge upside. That's why the people are so interested in, coming to India for sports. At the same time, it's not all rainbows and sunshine.
Right.
It's very muddy sometimes. It's very cloudy. It can get very dirty sometimes with the with the other people that are in the community. But one day I think we'll see things change very soon, and that's already happening. That boom has already arrived, and I can just hope for the best things to come.
And which exactly lays the perfect setting for my next question, which is what is the definition of success for you?
Like I said, the day will be like, okay, we have, took sports in India as a serious business, or as a serious, discipline. And every sportsman has the kind of pride of being a sportsman. And if we can, get India to be number one in the world one day for sports and sports business and sports as a whole, that'll be the day when I'll be like, okay, I'm successful now.
Interesting. This is my last, question for you. Do you have like a go-to line and any advice, best advice that you've ever been given in life?
Yeah, so like my go-to line is the best advice that I've been given, and it's been given to me by the founder, Rich Whalen. And what he says is like, he says, losers blame others and winners blame themselves.
Losers blame others.
Yeah, and winners blame themselves. So whenever I feel like, okay, I'm losing or I'm blaming somebody, it's always like, okay, you're going to blame him, so that means you're losing. Rather, blame yourself, make it right, make it correct, and then you keep going the right path. So that's always helped me, because there's always in companies you always have arguments, you always have like what do you call it, like there's always a misalignment of thoughts. So that's always helped me to like stay the course and stay strong and make sure that, okay, fine, like I cannot blame anybody else, I have to put the burden on myself.
I think from this entire conversation, what I can gauge is that you're someone who wants to be a winner, is a winner, and will thrive to be a winner. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for talking to us. I think what I've also gauged is that you have so many numbers in your head, right? So much experience at a very young age, which I haven't seen with many people. And thank you for showing us a different picture. Obviously, yes,
the dark side.
Dark side. Maybe we know a lot about cricket, but coming from a non-cricketing organization doing something like basketball, esports, I think we've learned a lot. Thank you so much for those insights. Only hope and pray that all the companies that you have find the end of the road, find cross that checkered line, I would say.
Right.
And it is a huge success for you. Thank you so much for coming in, Sunny. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.